as many of you know, before I was elected as Vice President, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California, and before that I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
What an act. Kamala Harris, as you see, she very much leans into this image of herself as a tough prosecutor. She pitched herself as a defender of the middle class. Everyday America, a defender against bad actors in America, defending against, all kinds of criminals, gang members, rapists, tax cheats. As a prosecutor in San Francisco and Attorney General in California, this was the image she cultivated throughout her entire career. Now, it's okay, you can laugh. We all know that is not the truth. We've seen the research. Kamala was a settlement queen. Rare minutes in the courtroom for her. And when faced with big cases to get justice for American citizens and Californians, Harris had a history of looking the other way. In America, we clearly have a two-tier justice system, one that favors the rich and powerful, and one that crushes the working class, or conservatives. In 2015, while Harris was Attorney General of California, billionaire Igor Olenikov of an offshore serial tax cheat was let off easy by Kamala in California. Olenikov was caught after a Union Bank of Switzerland banker, then Bradley Birkenfeld, blew the whistle on how much Olenikov was ripping off taxpayers and securing billions in offshore accounts. Olenikov was able to write a check to the feds for $52 million. And the California legal system under Kamala's reign looked the other way. Kamala Harris, of course, the so-called champion of the middle class, did nothing. Joining us now is that UBS whistleblower, author of Lucifer's Banker, Brad Birkenfeld. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
You blew the whistle on this man who had a lot of money to spend. He had a lot of money to funnel off. And tell us your experience of blowing the whistle on him and how California dealt with this story with you.
Well, it's actually a two-tiered system here. As we know, in the United States, we have federal and state taxes. And Mr. Olenikov was my client. He had around $200 million offshore, but he actually had much more of that money offshore a decade before I even knew him. So when I blew the whistle to the federal government on Mr. Olenikov, as well as many other clients that were U.S. citizens, it was the largest and longest-running tax scandal in U.S. history. 19,000 clients, $20 billion. Mr. Olenikov, as you rightly pointed out, got off easy and paid $52 million and didn't go to jail. But he had been violating the tax code at the federal level for well over 2 decades. After that happened, that was in 2007, what happened was that Mr. Olenikov then sued UBS, my employer, and myself, which I had left the bank, saying that we made him do this, which the Judge Guilford in the state of California threw that case out and said, no, you're wrong. You admitted fault and you have to accept your guilty plea, and you paid $52 million.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.